So I just recently joined the drama club where all we do is sit around and have drama with each other, and I just don't want to talk about it. Okay? So next up we've got the amazing Chris Baty, who is the founder of National Novel Writing Month. Hands up who's done it, who's actually done National Novel Writing Month. That is awesome. And he also, there's a version of it for screenplays, and it shows that people, empowers people, and shows that anybody can be creative, and, there's not this huge gap between novelists and the rest of us, and, now there's a version of it for screenplays happening, I'm not sure when, but sometime soon. And Chris Baty has also, in addition to writing some novels himself, he's written a NaNoWriMo handbook entitled No Plot, No Problem. And he also has written for the SF Weekly and the East Bay Express. And he's actually, and he does a helpline. There's a helpline that you can call if you're in the middle of your novel. 24 hours a day, it's staffed by a novelist who will, walk you through, talk you down off the edge and help you to realize that your characters may be failures, but you're not a failure, and it's awesome, and helps you to kind of analyze your characters, get inside them, and he's actually had because he's helped to demystify the process of novel writing, and show that novelists aren't some kind of priesthood that only the chosen few can join or whatever. He's actually had a lot of problem with the National Novelists Union, who have tried to have him retconned out of existence, or at least retconned away. And, the process of retconning someone is actually really complicated. You have to pretty much, create a metafictional version of them in a bunch of different literary journals, possibly some of them with a slightly different spelling of their name, or, a few details changed. And then, over time, they enter a state of sort of narrative flux, and then you can kind of step in and, make changes to them. And so, they tried to retcon Chris Baty so that instead of having founded National Novel Writing Month, he started a campaign to get Big Bird on a postage stamp instead of Elvis, which, incidentally, why doesn't Big Bird have his own stamp? I mean, fuck Elvis. Am I right? Big Bird is 100 Elvises. Did Elvis ever save us from, having our children put into snuff films by Snuffleupagus? I didn't think so, no. Fuck y'all. Anyway, so back to Chris Baty. So they tried to retcon him, and it nearly worked, and but he figured out how to sorry. But he had a giant army of National Novel Writing people on his side who could all write stuff that would retcon the National Novelist Union before they could retcon him, and so it turned into a giant escalating battle of them trying to retcon each other, and his 1,000 novel writing novelists and NaNoWriMo novelists against their sort of army of literary magazine people, and it got more and more crazy, and they were trying to, and eventually they just decided, fuck it, we're gonna retcon the invention of the printing press. We're just gonna be fuck it, we're gonna establish via a whole network of metafictional narratives that the printing press was never even invented, and then nobody will want to be a novelist, and we'll have won. We'll finally be the guardians of the priesthood. And unfortunately they ran into basically an endless loop of causality, because how could they have retconned that the printing press had never been I'm having a senior moment. How could they have retconned that the printing press was never invented except by printing stuff that retconned it? And so they ended up with a kind of Causal Pretzel, which incidentally is the name of Chris Baty's band that he's the lead singer of. And so they got trapped in an endless loop of causality, which eventually Chris Baty was able to help them out of. And so a grateful novelist union decided that they would kind of drop their whole anti-Chris Baty retconning program, and a settlement was reached where real novelists now have an umlaut over the O in novel to make it clear that their novels are special and sacred and important, and not like the rest of our novels. So please do remember the umlaut, because it's very important. Otherwise, this whole thing will start up again. And please welcome the lead singer of Causal Pretzel, Chris Baty.